Hello everyone, welcome to today's segment of Cooking in Tastebudz Kitchen with Benedicta. Today we're going to be preparing moin, which is a very popular beans delicacy here in Nigeria. You will find it in a lot of the party menus around because it's really delicious, it tastes really nice, very proteinous, it's very, and that is because of the high protein content of the beans. Today, in making our moin, using brown beans. However, you might choose to use the white beans or the honey beans, but the honey beans for me is a bit too sweet, so it doesn't give you, or it doesn't allow you allow the other ingredients in the moin to sit in it properly. So I use this particular brown beans for my own moin recipe. Before we continue, I'd like to ask you to hit the subscribe button. It is Tastebudz without the NG on YouTube, just in case you are yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So, going over what we're using today, I'm going to show you everything we're going to be using before we blend it, after we're done blending, and when we are about to start wrapping it up. Okay, so let's start with our moin leaves. Now here are our moin leaves. This is what we're going to be using to wrap the moin today. We're going to be using this wrapping leaves, and we are also going to be using the Ramekins bowls. So you have an alternative. You can choose to wrap in the leaves. You can also choose to fill your blended moin liquid in Ramekins bowls like I have here. So before we go over to that, here are our beans, our brown beans washed and peeled. We have the red bell onions chopped, and we have the red bell pepper and our rodo with atarodo pepper, which is the very spicy one I showed you in my previous video. We have some bouillon cubes here, salt, and more of our dried chili pepper ground. Just in case you like to have your moin a bit extra spicy, you might want to add this after the addition of all the bell peppers. We have our blended dried prawns here, and this is what our red onions looked like before it was chopped. This is red bell pepper looked like before it was cleaned and sliced into the beans bowl. And this is our red scotch bonnet pepper, which is also atarodo. This is what it looked like before adding it to the beans bowl. We have our brown beans, which I believe I've already told you about. We're using the brown beans today. I hope I'm not too fast. And for the garnish, I am using minced meat. Okay, it's a bit frozen. I'm waiting for it to thaw. Okay, so I'm using minced meat. I'm using dried whole prawns and hard-boiled eggs. What I love the most about this meal, this recipe, or should I say this particular beans meal, what I love the most about it is the flexibility that it affords you. You can choose to make it your own way by adding chopped liver, chopped chicken breast, smoked mackerel fish, dried fish, whatever it is that you like. Okay, for me today, I chose to use the minced meat, dried whole prawns, and hard-boiled eggs. But you're not restricted to these three items. You can choose to add whatever it is that pleases you, or whatever it is that suits your dietary requirements. So now I have gone through everything we're using. Oops, I forgot. We have canola oil over here. So the canola oil is going to be added to the beans bowl when it has been pureed. Right now it is in its whole state. We're going to take the beans to the mixer, and we're going to puree it, and then when we bring it back here, we're going to be adding the canola oil, the water, and all the seasoning that we need to use in the preparation of this meal. So I hope I am not too fast. Okay, so 2 seconds. I need you to go through, or rather I need you to take a look at everything that has been displayed in front of you. dried whole prawns, minced meat, boiled eggs, ground dried crayfish, red onions, big red bell peppers, tiny scotch bonnet peppers, ground chili pepper, salt, seasoning cubes. All of these are going to be incorporated into the mix as it when due. So now I'm going to pause here so we can take this to the mixer, and when it has been blended into a puree, it will be brought back here, and then we can go on with the cooking. So our beans has been blended. It's now in a puree form. You can see this bright pink color is really looking nice, more like orangey, pinky orange. So this is back from the mixer. So this is what the consistency is like. And we're going to make this a little more runny by adding some water and some oil. But for now, I just want to quickly slice our hard-boiled eggs. Okay, you can choose to slice them in 2 halves, and you can decide to slice them in quarters. I'm going to slice them in quarters. Okay, so this is my egg sliced in quarters. I'm going to be quick about this because I don't want to spend all day slicing the eggs. I would have done this prior to this time. Okay, so that's my egg. So you have an idea of what I'm trying to do. So let's just go on with the mixing. That's the important part of this. So this is my pureed beans. I'm going to add a bit of water. Okay, this water is going to enable me to crush the bouillon cubes, and the salt is going to act as a binder. So I'm going to be crushing about 6 bouillon cubes into this. 3, 4, 5, and 6. So never mind, I'm going to put the exact measurements and ingredients on my YouTube page for all to see. So this is our blended crayfish. That's our ground dried prawns. I'm going to put a bit of salt, but I'm going to be easy on the salt because the bouillon cubes is also salty. I'm going to add a bit of red pepper. This really helps with the coloring of the food. It's very colorful and also adds a bit of flavor. But remember, if you don't like to eat that much spice, you might want to skip on this. Okay, you might want to skip on the ground chili pepper because we already have the red scotch bonnet pepper blended into the pureed beans. Now I'm going to put some of the dry prawns. Okay, I'm going to put some of our canola oil. Now remember, I initially added some water to it, so the water is going to help to bind all the ingredients together because you don't want to be eating your moin moin and you're crushing on some cubes of undissolved bouillon cubes. That's not a very pleasant experience. So I'm going to blend all of this in, and if I think the consistency is still a bit too thick, I can always add more water. So you can do this with a wooden spatula, you can do this with a spoon, you can even do this with a whisk. What do you guys think? Too thick, or should we add just a little bit of water? I'm going to add just a little bit of water. I like my moin moin soft. And remember, when your moin moin is all prepared and it's cold, it gets a bit stronger. What am I trying to say? When it's hot, it's very soft. But when it starts cooling off, it starts getting a bit harder. And you don't want your moin moin to be too hard. So in order for it not to be so hard, you just have to get the right consistency by adding the right amount of water. Now I'm going to be putting my minced meat. This is my minced meat. Remember, I told you you can feel free to add chopped kidney, chopped liver, shredded chicken breast, whatever it is you like. You can add some smoked mackerel, fish. Some people go as far as adding dried fish. So it depends on what you want your moi moi to have. Okay, so I'm gonna just put the minced meat in very tiny bits, so that way it's going to allow for easy steaming. Okay, it's going to allow for easy steaming. This is a very proteinous dish, by the way. It's very proteinous. It's very nutritious. It's got loads of protein from the beans. It's got protein from the eggs. It's got protein from the minced meat. It's got protein from even the dried prawns. So it's a very nutritious meal. You might want to prepare this and serve it with oatmeal, corn pap, or custard and cream for your little ones. Very nutritious. So everything I believe is in the mix. I'm now going to taste it for seasoning, for salt, and for pepper. Tastes good to me, but I think I'll add just a little extra salt. A little extra salt. Now remember, when we started this video, I showed you our moi moi leaves. The leaves we're going to be using to in wrapping the moi moi. And I also showed you the ramekin bowls. So this is an alternative to the leaves. If you do not want to use the leaves in wrapping your moi moi, you can always use the ramekin bowls to fill up your moi moi and cook. You can also use aluminum plates. I don't have them here to show you, but they're little cups like this, made of stainless steel aluminum. It's also good for steaming your moi moi. Remember, I added a bit of salt, so I'm just going to stir it round a bit and ensure the salt goes round properly. And then I'll start. Perfect. I'm very comfortable with the level of salt. Now, if you do want to use bowls like this ramekin bowl, remember to grease it a bit. And that was too much oil, so I'm just going to pour it back into the jar. So why I'm doing this is because I'm going to allow the oil to go around all 4 jars. So watch me. Okay, remember to grease it, because you don't want your meal sticking on the bowl. That's when you're trying to bring it out from the cup. When it's time to put it onto your plate, you do not want your moi moi sticking on the sides of the cup. So I'm trying to just grease this round. This is what you will do when baking a cake. You know, you have to use butter to grease the cake pan. So it's similar to what I'm trying to achieve here. I'm trying to grease our ramekin bowls so we don't have our moi moi meal sticking to the sides of the bowl. So this is it. I'm going to be quick about this so we can get on with our cooking. So I think this should do. So now we're going to have the moi moi very easy to turn out when it's all cooked. Okay, good. I think that's about that. Okay, now we're gonna dish into this. Remember, when you're dishing, you don't want to fill up the cup, because you need to give some room for our beans meal to rise. The moi moi always it always gets bigger than what it is now in liquid state. It's just like you're baking a cake. You know, when you're baking the cake, you don't have to fill your bake mix, your cake mix to the top. You have to give a little room, like a little allowance for the cake to rise. is the same thing we're doing here with our moin beans meal. We're going to put it up until a quarter of the cup, and we're going to leave the other room for it to rise, just like this. And now remember, we have eggs over here, quartered eggs, hard-boiled eggs and quartered. I'm going to put this to right here. I'm going to put one prawn here just to make it look nice. I always like my meals to look in a certain way. So this is it. This is ready to go into our steamer or into the pot. So I'm going to do the same thing for the 3 other bowls. 1, 2, 3. Ensure you also have the minced meat in here as well. 4. And we're going to have the 2 egg quarters here. Okay. And there you go. Okay. 2. If you feel you do not have enough minced meat in the mix, you can feel free to do this. You can always pinch some of your minced meat, and you can always do this. And you can add 2 more quarters of your egg yolk and 1 more prawn just to make it look nice. Here. So we're gonna have a little more of the minced meat. We don't want any of the bowls locking in the minced meat department. So this is it. I think this is looking really nice already. Okay, so now we're gonna go over to the leaves. So you have the option of either wrapping your moin using our moin leaves, or using our Ramekin bowls. I'm cutting the eggs into 4 quarters. Now it's very easy to wrap like this. Okay, you can choose to wrap them in 2s or 3s depending on how. Are you watching? Okay. Look at it, it looks like a cone. I'm going to show you all the angles. Okay, now you're going to fold the tip of it like this to avoid spilling into your pot. Okay, and then you're going to do this. 1, 2, 3. You're going to add 1 egg or 2 if you want, and then cover it up with some moin. That is it. That's the moin mix. Okay, then you do this. Watch me. It's very easy, like this. Okay, so there we have our finely wrapped moin. So I'm not going to bore you with the entire wrapping process. This was just for you to see how you can wrap it using the leaf, and you can also use your ramekin bowl. So I'm going to put the video on pause now, conclude the wrapping, and then we'll take it over to the gas top, and then I'll show you just how we cook it on the gas. I hope this wasn't too difficult. So as you all can see, we're about to put the moin into the steamer. I'm just going to add a bit of water so that way our ramekin bowls do not get burnt. So I'm going to just drop it in here to steam. I'm going to drop it in here. The sticks underneath, you're acting as a barrier, or rather a protector, to ensure that our jars or our bowls of ramekin does not get broken or cracked. So that is it. The momo is steaming in here. I'm just going to use some of these leaves to act as a cover. Okay, you can choose to put them this way, this way, this way. Okay. Now our ramekin bowls are going to be steaming with our moi puree in it. But from time to time, we have to come back to the gas stop and ensure that we still have water in the bowl, in the pot. We do not want the water in the pot to dry out, because if the water in the pot should dry out, I don't know what is going to happen now. Our moi is going to be bye-bye. We don't want that to happen anyway, so we have to keep ensuring that there is water in this pot. And now I'm going to cover this pot. I don't want the steam to escape, because we need all the steam we can get to. Pressure cook this, and in the next 20-30 minutes I believe our moi will be ready. So now we're going to move over to the moi wrapped in leaves. You now all understand how the ones in the ramekin bowl is going to steam. So here we have our moi all wrapped in leaves and is ready to be steamed. So it's all arranged in a pot. We're going to be adding some hot water, and then we're going to start it. Can I have some water over there? Yes, please. So we're going to be very mindful not to put too much water into this. We want to be adding the water, you know, a bit at a time until it's ready. Okay. Now we're going to cover this up with some leaves. Can I have some leaves to cover this up? And then we're going to put the gas on. This should be ready in the next maybe 40 minutes to an hour. So we want this to steam. Okay. So that's about that. So we're going to watch this steam for about 45 minutes and then come back and see how it's doing. Our moi wrapped in these is ready. This is what it looks like. Okay. This is what it looks like. So we're going to put this onto a plate now, so you can see what it looks like. Our moi is ready. This is what it looks like. So you can have this with your oats for breakfast. Yay. Some oats and milk. So guys, this is what leaf moi look like. When you want to wrap your moi in leaf, this is how it's going to come out. Okay. And it can be served with this oatmeal. So thank you guys for watching. Bye bye.